Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals for April 4th, 2018. My name's Bob Solson, the chairman of the board. First, we'd like to do a roll call of the members in attendance.
Mr. Bossolides.
Here.
Mr. Reichel. Mr. Sutton.
Here.
Mr. Beck.
Here.
Mr. Souls.
Here.
Mr. Carpenter.
Here. All right, thank you. I'd like to introduce the members of the board. As I said, my name is Bob Souls. I am chairman. Next to me on my left is Demetrius Poussolides. He's the secretary. Next to him is Jeff Sutton. To my right is Richard Beck, and Travis Carpenter is an alternate. Tim Reichel, who's vice chairman, is not here this evening. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the agenda? Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir, there will be a change.
Okay.
On appeal number 1267-18.
Okay.
The original notice went out to the paper indicating that it was a 22-foot side yard setback variance, 3-foot required, 25-foot requested. I got back into the office and saw that and changed the decision page to read correctly that it's a 22-foot side yard setback variance, 25-foot required, and 3-foot requested.
Okay. Thank you. And also with us this evening is Tom Farrar. He's our zoning director. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes that were distributed for November 1st, 2017 and February 7, 2018?
Yes.
So the chair will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Sutton,
Yes.
Mr. Poussolides.
Yes.
Mr. Beck,
Yes.
and Mr. Souls.
Yes. Okay, we have no unfinished business I'm aware of to come before the board this evening. We have two appeals to consider. First appeal is appeal number 18 RLC Construction. And the second is appeal number 126718 Terry Beal. We have received some information from the Plain Township Fire Department, so I'll read that into the record. With respect to appeal number 1265-18, that's RLC Building Design Construction applicant and owner. On behalf of the owner, I should say that the request for a variance has been reviewed and there are no recommendations or suggestions regarding the appeal. With respect to appeal number 1267-18, Terry D. Bill, applicant, the request for a variance has been reviewed and there are no recommendations or suggestions regarding this appeal. Okay, I'd like to administer the oath. Anyone who plans to testify before the board this evening or present any information, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Thank you. All right, our first appeal this evening is appeal number 1265-18. We have two 18s. Hold on a second.
65 and 67.
Yeah. 6567. That's it. Terry Beal. Bill number 1265-18, applicant owner RLC Building Design Construction, 13046 Diagonal Road, Salem, Ohio. 9th Street, Church of Christ, 3904 38th Street, Northwest Canton, Ohio, 44718. Applicant requests a variance to place a 45-foot by 40-foot, 1,800 square foot addition to the gymnasium on the property located at 3904 38th Street, Northwest Canton, Ohio, 44718. That's parcel number 52-80350. Under section 702.2B, conditionally permitted uses. The 60-foot side yard setback variance, 100 foot is required, 40-foot requested. Is there someone here to present that? So please come forward and state your name and address, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Ralph Dane. My address is 3776 Pot Hour Wheeler Road, Hubbard, Ohio.
If you can go ahead and just present your appeal and state the basis for why this board should consider and grant the appeal.
Yes, we are requesting the 40-foot setback opposed to the 100-foot setback, keeping in line with the existing structure that is there. There will be no change to dimensionality as far as that side yard setback. And we did get approved previously for the same variance on the existing structure. The building will be constructed of the same materials. It'll have the same appearance, same roof slope, color of the siding and roofing panels. We are going to be adding additional restroom facilities into the structure, and the primary purpose is going to be for expanding the church's youth social functions.
Anything else?
No, that pretty much covers it all.
Is anyone else here to speak in favor of this appeal? Anyone else here to speak against this appeal? Questions from the board?
Will you be, you're going to be expanding your gymnasium, or are you creating a gymnasium?
It was previously a gymnasium. We're just adding on to it.
And I assume this is for the use of the church?
Yes.
Do you guys plan on renting it out, or is it primarily just for the church?
It's primarily just for the church.
Any further questions? Okay, if not, the chair will take a motion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion on appeal number 1265-18, whereas the applicant owner RLC Building Design Construction, 13046 Diagonal Road, Salem, Ohio, 44460 9th Street, Church of Christ, 3904 38th Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio, 44718. Applicant requests a variance to place a 45-foot by 40-foot, 1,800 square foot addition to the gymnasium on the property located at 3904 38th Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio, 44718, parcel number 5280350, to grant the following a 60-foot side yard setback variance, 100 feet required, 40 feet requested.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
Well, I believe the church has come forward. They're obviously good neighbors. Nobody's here to oppose this. They're using this for their own personal use, and it's always good to hear, that there's a couple components to the church. That, of course, we pray and we practice our religion, but there's always that social function, and it's good to hear that it sounds like the church is thriving, and they need to expand, so be happy to accommodate them.
Yeah, I think most importantly, you're already at that 40 feet currently, so I have no objection to the variance as well. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Posilides?
Yes.
And Mr. Stoll?
Yes. Variance has been granted. Let's see, zoning inspector, director, get the permit. Thank you. Next appeal is appeal number 1267-18, applicant Terry Beal, 10007 Schleybaugh Avenue, Hartville, Ohio. Eagle Properties Limited of 10007 Schleybaugh Avenue, Hartville. Applicant requests a variance to do an air emplacement of a 30-foot by 80-foot, 2,400 square foot existing steel building on the property located at 2942 Mount Pleasant Street.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt you for
Yes.
this one? I don't know that we got a second on that motion.
Yeah.
We did, very good. I didn't get one, thank you.
It's okay. That's parcel number 52-00769. Section 721.3 and 721.4 minimum lot and yard requirements. A 22-foot side setback variance 25-foot required, 3-foot requested. Is that how you've changed that? That's correct?
Yes.
Is there someone here to present this appeal?
Yes, sir.
Please stand, sir. I don't believe you stood and raised your right hand when I asked if anyone was going to
I'm
speak.
sorry, I didn't realize I was going to have to testify.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to present is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
I do.
Can you please state your name and address?
Jerry Beal, 10,007 Schleybaugh Avenue, Hartville.
Okay, Mr. Beal, if you could go ahead and please state the basis for your appeal and why you believe the board should grant this.
Well, when I bought the property, there were what I thought to be the property boundaries were designated by railroad ties that were standing on end at all 4 corners of the property. I assumed that was the property. When I applied for my permit and built my building, we measured 25 feet off the property line, or what we thought was the property line, and built the building. Recently, I've had the property surveyed by a professional company, and they found that I was not in compliance. Now, I wasn't caught, I mean, nobody told me I was a bad guy or anything like that. I just found that I was wrong, and I want to make it right.
Okay. Anything further you want to add, sir?
No, sir.
Is anyone else here to speak in favor of the appeal? Seeing no one. No one here to speak against this appeal. Questions from the board? I do have some questions myself. Now, you bought this property in 2015,
Yes, sir.
and what was the purpose that you bought this property to do with it?
To build this building on. The property was, you folks had actually condemned the property,
Okay.
and it was going to cost you $10,000 or $15,000 to have it cleaned up. It was a mess.
You wanted to put this building on it,
Yep.
and what was the purpose of the building?
Cold storage.
Cold storage?
Yes, sir.
And what do you put in there?
I have my boat, my camper, a bulldozer, and a bobcat in there.
Okay. And do you rent that out to
Yes,
anyone
sir.
else?
No, for my own use.
Now, when you bought the property, did you finance it at all?
No,
And so you never had any surveys done or
no,
anything
sir.
when you bought
Never
it?
had to. I paid cash for it when I bought it, and paid cash for the building when I had it built.
What did you do when you built the building? Did you have to get a building permit or seek any other permits for purposes of that?
I screwed up. Okay, I know that. I came here and I got my permit, and I thought that's all I had to have for that property. I've since found out that I was wrong, that I did need a building permit from Stark County, and I'm in the process right now of having that all taken care of. I hired an architectural firm as well as engineers to make sure the building is correct. We are working with the building department, and we're in the process of actually applying for a permit to put another building on that property.
Okay. So when you came in to see the zoning department, you applied for a permit, you indicated at that point that your building was going to be 25 feet off the property line?
Yes, sir.
Is that what
Yes,
your
sir.
testimony is?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was false, right?
Yes, sir. I didn't realize it was false, so it was not intentional.
How did you determine what the property line was at that time?
We put strung a line from marker, existing marker to existing marker, and measured 25 feet off of it. And we found out later on, when I just recently had the property surveyed, that those markers were wrong. They were in the wrong spot.
Okay, what kind of markers were they?
They're railroad ties, buried in the ground, standing straight up and down.
Okay. And
In fact, they're still there.
now you are, the reason you're here now is why?
I found out,
Obviously, you claim you made an error. My question to you is, how did this come about that you now are seeking this?
when I had the property surveyed, and you have a copy of it there, I think, of the plot plan, you'll see that the surveying company came back and said, this is where the real property line is.
Why did you have the property surveyed though? That's the question.
To make things right with Stark County. Like I said, I want to build another building on the property, and I wanted to make sure that everything was right. I hired Joe Caplia, engineering firm, to help me through this. And Joe said the only way to do it is to have it surveyed first, so we know exactly what we're working with and working from. So I went along with everything he suggested to me.
Well, when you say make it right with Stark County, What were you making right with Stark County? How did that come about?
The existing building that I have on the property now, when I built it wrong.
Okay, how did you build it wrong?
I did not pour a foundation. The blueprints that I had from the company that actually constructed the building, their prints called for a 6-inch slab with rebar. That's what I poured. And the Stark County people said, no, it has to have a foundation underneath of it. So we're in the process now. I've hired, Duke County hired some engineers to tell me how I can do that. How we can dig back underneath this foundation and pour pillars underneath of it going down to the 4 feet that we're required to get out.
So, when you got your building permit, did you get a building permit when you built this the first time?
I got a permit from Plain Township.
You never got a building permit?
No, sir, I did not.
So, someone came out and inspected like your building, is that what just happened? How did they
No.
find that out?
What actually happened, I went down to apply for an electrical permit. And it showed my prints and all that type of stuff. They said, well, you can't have this building because you don't have a foundation underneath of it. I said, well, my prints call and it's stamped by an architect here in the state of Ohio. And my prints show that a slab is all I'm required. That we don't approve slabs in Stark County. I didn't know that. I've learned a lot from this whole experience.
So what is it that the architect, Mr. Capley, is telling you that needs to be done?
I can't tell you exactly, sir. I don't know. I don't have all the details on that yet. I can tell you one thing. I got one bill from him and it's extremely expensive.
I think you also testified something about you were going to expand or make something bigger or add another building?
I'd like to put another building on the property.
You what?
I'd like to add another building on the property. And there again for storage.
Or are you able to actually put this building at a proper distance that would meet our zoning requirements?
Oh, absolutely. I've got plenty of room as far as that goes.
So why don't you do that?
I'm sorry, sir?
Why don't you do that?
Why don't I?
Yeah, since you already have to, essentially, sounds like you have to put a new foundation in anyway.
Right. Well, I'm going to leave the existing building and I'm going to put an additional building on the property. Okay, but this time we'll have a foundation under it.
What do they tell you got to do with the existing building to make it right, though?
According to what the lead down at the building department told me, we're going to have to put a foundation under it. It's just that simple. I'm going to have to dig up around the building and back under the concrete or drill into the concrete and run rebar into it and tie it into an actual footer. Which, to be very honest with you, seems ridiculous. That building's been there for 3 years. There's not a crack in that floor anywhere. But they won't go along with it. You have to have a foundation.
So basically, there's two issues here. One is you have an existing building that the county states has to have a foundation under it,
Yes, sir.
and that building is not within zoning because of the error of the setback,
Yes, sir.
25 feet.
Yes, sir.
And the second issue is not really a part of this, but that is to build a second building on the same property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Of which we have applied to regional planning, the sewer department, all the permits have been requested. We haven't gotten them yet, but we have requested.
So if you actually you had this property and you were able to put a building on the property that met our variance requirements, how many you still would only be able to put, what, one building there?
No, I have room to put 3.
Okay.
Okay.
What is this a picture of?
That's what the property looked like last time I was with you gentlemen.
That's what you tore down, you're saying?
Yes, sir. Be glad that you didn't have to clean that property up. It cost me a heck of a lot more than what I expected. I tell you one thing, you had a lot of 10,000 to clean it up, that didn't even get a good start.
What are you going to use the second building for?
Storage also. I have a company in North Canton. I sell snow removal equipment. And just like this time of year right now, I have the opportunity to get a good buy on plow of my last season. Well, I don't have enough room to store them all. I need work. more storage no needed for that. In fact,
Do you know how much it's gonna be to fix the existing building and put a foundation versus how much it would be, like Bob said, to move it the 3 feet and get it within compliance?
no, I don't know, sir.
One would expect it would be less than tearing down the building and moving it.
We're hoping it's going to be less. Like I said, I don't have those numbers yet.
Your snow removal business, that's the one you operate on Eagle Circle, across from Roar?
Yes, sir.
You plan to store plows and stuff over there?
At the location, when I get my new building done, yes. There'll be cold storage for it. If you go past my place now, you see there's quite a few plows sitting outside. And I have one warehouse there, and it's clear full. We stock, by midsummer, I'll have between 400 and 500 snowplows in there. And I just don't have room for them.
Yeah, I see them. Anyone else have any further questions? Not, the chair will entertain a motion on this appeal. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Make the motion on appeal number 1267-18, whereas applicant owner Terry D. Beal, 10007 Schlabel Avenue, Northeast Parkville, Ohio, 44632, Eagle Properties Limited, 10007 Schlabel Avenue, Northeast Parkville, Ohio, 44632. Applicant requests a variance due to an error in placement of a 30-foot by 80-foot, 2,400 square foot existing steel building on the property located at 2942 Mount Pleasant, Northeast Canton, Ohio, 44721, parcel number 5200769, to grant the following 22-foot side yard setback variance, 25 feet required, 3 feet requested.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Discussion. Any thoughts on this one, guys?
Well, practically, if we deny it, does that force him to move the building?
Yes. Yes, it would. Because he would be in non-compliance.
this is very similar to an appeal that we had within the last year, wherein there had been a mistake made, and the applicant, just like Mr. Beal, discovered it and wanted to make it right. So, under those circumstances and the fact that, in my opinion, tearing down a building and reconstructing it would probably be more expensive than putting in the foundation, I would support the appeal.
Your comments? I would say, I agree with you to a certain extent, but disagree. The problem that you have to some extent is a lot of people can do things by mistake. Hey, I built this, are you gonna make me tear it down? I'm not saying Mr. Bill did that. That's kind of the issue. And hearing, the facts and testimony and whatnot, you can always question some of those issues in terms of what the intent and motive is, because ultimately, what can you fit on a piece of property versus building it something 3 feet, 3 feet from the property line versus 25 feet. So, you probably get a lot more square footage on that property doing what he's doing versus what he was required to do. Having said that, given where it's located and seeing what's been around it, and no one's here to object to it, I probably don't have as big as a problem with it. But that's the one thing I think, as a board, we need to look at in the future on some of these issues. As unfortunate as it is, that you may have to render a decision to say, guess what, sorry fella, you gotta tear it down. We may have to do that. So that's kind of my take on it, my comments.
Understood. Don't disagree.
Any further comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Sutton,
Yes.
Mr. Beck,
Yes.
Mr. Pusalides.
Yes.
Mr. Solls.
Yes. Okay, we let you off the hook this time.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm sorry, I do apologize.
I know, but we expect, free snow flying for a while.
Actually, if you look in the front of most of your trucks, your Plain Township trucks, they've got black clouds on them. And we do appreciate your business. Thank you, gentlemen.
Come back
Thank
to
you.
zoning when you get the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get that permit done for you.
Okay, all right. That's all in the works right now. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further business? Not, motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. All right, dudes. Yeah, that was gonna be an interesting one, I felt from the beginning. They're always tough ones.
May?
We have nothing yet. That's April, May, we don't have anything for May, so, I'm waiting on June.
Okay. Now, July 4th happens to be on Wednesday.
I won't be here.
And so we probably should bump, if we have one, bump it, well, does the zoning commission have theirs on the 11th?
On the second Wednesday. Yes.
So that would be the, I would prefer not to do it like on the 3rd or the 5th, because I may not.
Right.
Right. I'd rather do it, we have to maybe pick a day the next week, just in case we have.
Just in case.
Yeah,
Not at the
Yeah, that's fine.
same time as.
Why don't we just email,
Either Tuesday or Thursday, whatever.
right,
or
whatever
someday.
date you guys want to
Yeah,
do.
That's good.
And what I'll need to do is check with the township, make sure the room is not being
Sure.
utilized.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And then I can get back with you.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Sounds
Life
good.
is good.
All right.
And good luck with my neighbor.